At the end of the day, what would you say was the core mistake they were making? Not listening to you, not even bothering to ask. What do you feel was the core mistake?
Yeah, it's a good question. So the core mistake, as I'm reflecting back, honestly, it was the how and the message and how we were being treated. They did the you know, the cliche of surveys. They did the cliche of, putting people aside, even for me, because they knew I was upset at times. And I'm like, what's wrong? How can I help? And I was stuck. I'm like, I don't know. Like, I really don't know I don't know. Like, I wanted help, but because of the things that were going on, the expectations, they were just misaligned. It really was misaligned. So they did talk, they tried. So in that respect, that was fine, but it was still not, it was just the way it was and how it was, and that dictatorship that was affecting everybody. And just because the one style may work for a very small percentage does not work for everybody else. And here's another thing too. They would say one thing and say, this is what we need to do, this is this, and then the action would be completely opposite. So it was like, okay, we know that the one style is not going to blanket for everybody, but yet we're doing that. Like, you know what I mean? The actions speak louder than words. So that could be, in a nutshell.
But also, perhaps that's what we need to make a point about, the fact that if your actions are saying another thing, and what you're saying to people is saying one thing, then actually that mixed message doesn't help either. And of course, this is where we've developed the corporate sense of alignment and the corporate messages that we put out there. This is why we talk about this stuff. We talk about values and vision, knowing what it is that you want, making sure that your employees understand what that is, knowing how to achieve that, knowing what good looks like, then being in alignment with all of that, and then alleviating your grip, which is really in a nutshell kind of what we've talked about today, isn't it? And then what you've said so very expressively is, let's get in ahead of that so that you can get this right from the very beginning, because then that proactivity will pay off. And guess what? You'll have taken on a ton of learning faster than most other people who take years to be able to learn it, then apply it. If I understood you correctly, yeah.
Right. And here's an interesting side note about this, is that I was at the executive level in the same company where this was happening to her. And I knew these departments very well. And the challenge is we check off boxes. And when we get to that level, we end up just checking off boxes. Okay, we see some challenges there. Well, let's find out. Let's have our manager of our department. Let's ask so-and-so, she's the manager, ask them how things are going. Let's have that person kind of find out and report back to us. So we check off the boxes. But when the report comes back as well, it's because they're really not a high performer anyway. And the blame starts to kind of get kind of pushed aside. Now, not to say, now I'm gonna support this, because of being at the executive level for as long as I was, there's some merit to some of that in some employees. Okay, there is some merit. There are some employees that just
their
perform.
attitude sucks or something about their fit.
That's right.
Isn't quite right. Yeah, it's true.
That's right.
Yeah.